Today I'm going to be giving you some ideas for some affordable pageant gown options. I know, you're like, how is that a thing? Pageants are expensive, and yes they are, but there are some more affordable alternatives that you can find on a website that you may have already checked out, and that is promgirl.com. So let me give you a little disclosure about this episode though. So I get clients that will purchase dresses from this website. I've also noticed a lot of contestants at pageants wearing dresses from this website. So nothing wrong with this website, but the thing is, when we're talking about pageant and competition, you're gonna look for some very, very specific styles. So while they do have a lot of great deals and stuff that can work for prom or special occasions, most of the gowns are not suited for pageants, but there are some exceptions. So today we're gonna be talking about these dress styles, and typically the price point is about $500 or less. Some of these gown styles are even $100, and of course I'm going to be linking all of them for you in my LTK, so check out the description. One thing you need to understand, generally speaking, for pageant, as the quality of our gown choice goes down, the expectation for performance will go up. Let's consider two quick examples. Miss Rhode Island USA 2015. Look at her state competition evening gown. Not my favorite gown, and if you just looked at the photos, you'd probably be thinking, how did she win? Oh my goodness, in that gown for a Miss USA state? Yes, that is because she was a great competitor and she had great potential. So the judges were willing to overlook a lot because this was not the end of the road for her. She was going on to Miss USA. She would then have access to sponsors and hair and makeup lessons. And then the idea is that she would be even more successful, and those judges were correct. She had a top 5 finish. Let's look at our before and the after. Worlds apart. Look at the difference that a budget and support makes. Now we also have Kim Lane. Kim Lane was Miss Idaho USA, and I was actually at this competition, and everybody was like, who's gonna win? There's a lot of returners, and I looked at Kim in the audience and I said, that girl right there. I didn't know her at the time. I said, that's your winner. Some people were like, do you think so? You think that she can win in that dress? And I said, the dress is not gonna matter for her. It's the face. She is the face card. So once again, quality of the dress, lower for pageantry, especially for a USA title. But what happens when she went to nationals? She's got that face card that she's bringing in. When she got there, she had access to sponsors. She wore a custom Sherry Hill evening gown. She turned it up. Now, do I think that Kim could have, for example, won Miss USA wearing a gown like this? No. Do I think that Ania could have won Miss USA in her state gown? No. It's too competitive at those levels. But is it possible at lower levels to spend less on our wardrobe and still win? Yes, but just know, the lower quality of wardrobe, the higher expectation for beauty and performance. Here's the first gown that I really liked. It stood out to me. This comes in a couple different color options. Now, I think that the colors are beautiful. I think that this is definitely more of a Miss dress. I feel like it's a little sexy. Probably gonna have a lot of cleavage going on. Now, what's great about this style though is because it's more affordable. If you wanted to, you could add some flat back rhinestones to this. You can purchase rhinestones on beadsfactory.com. That's who I would recommend. You don't have to use Swarovski. You can use Praskozia. I can never remember how to say that. And you would use E6000 to apply those rhinestones. You can kind of scatter them all over that gown if you want. But I do think that the shine that the fabric itself has kind of replaces the need for rhinestones or sequins or beading. It's kind of a nice little trade-off here, and it would be very complimentary to a lot of different contestants based on their skin tone. This dress also comes in several different colors. I feel like this is kind of an of-the-moment puff sleeve style. This is something that I could easily see worn to a Miss America local, and because of the color, it would really stand out because of the options that you would have. And also throw on a really great pair of earrings. It does have an interesting back, so maybe throw your hair up with this style, but this is something that could definitely work. And I could see it work for a teen or a miss. This is great for a miss. It does come in a few colors. I would not suggest wearing it in green unless you're competing for an eco pageant, an earth pageant, or you're a redhead. Please try to stay away from the greens in general. They just don't do very well in competition. You're gonna get winners in those, very few and far between. This dress comes in other really great styles. I think it's absolutely lovely. I especially loved it in the black style, and I would recommend the black on a blonde, but this is nice. And also because it already has some stoning or sequins in it, it would be easy to add on some more stones just for a little bit of extra shine for this stage, and it would be indetectable that those stones didn't come on the gown. This is definitely a junior teen or teen style. Now, don't worry about the slit. You can always tack that slit closed, not a really big deal. But this fabric is beautiful. It's a very age appropriate color that they're showing it, although it does come in multiple colors. This dress is gonna have a lot of really beautiful movement on stage. And I have seen quite a few junior teens and teens win in a style like this. Now, just keep in mind it is strapless, so if you're competing in a place where typically you're gonna see straps on contestants, then that's something you're gonna wanna keep in mind and add those for yourself. Once again, I think it's also a great style that would be eligible for adding on some more flat back stones to that bodice. This is a classic gown style. One thing I want to mention that I did notice about a lot of these, the models are not wearing platform heels. So these gowns, you have to check how long they are. They're usually cut shorter than a couture style gown, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, a lot of my tall contestants don't even have sights like this as an option because the gowns are simply not long enough, so keep that in mind. But if you're a little taller and you don't mind wearing a lower heel, they still could work. So this style, it's pretty classic. It's not anything new or groundbreaking in terms of the actual style, but could I see this worn at a Miss America local? I can. This is a style that I actually saw Portia and Scarlett create, and it was a year or two ago that this style was incredibly popular. I saw it at a lot of state pageants. No wonder why. It looks really great on stage. It's really beautiful. It's a very classic corseted beaded bodice style with a sort of satin skirt. There's nothing really to it, but can you win in a style like this? Yes. And I think if you really had the body and the curves as well, you could definitely kind of make this one a little bit sexier, push the envelope a bit more, and wear it to something like a USA local or maybe even a USA state pageant. But once again, quality of gown, the materials used, all of that stuff, as that decreases, the way you compete needs to increase. I've actually seen teens win in this style in black, and it's one of the few dresses I would say, go ahead, wear it in black. I feel like you need the confidence to do that. I think you need to be a great competitor, but I actually don't mind this style in black even for my teens. It's definitely something I would suggest for a teenage division, but it also comes in other colors, so you have some options with this style as well. But as you can see, this style is gonna look really great under stage lights because of all of those sequins. This is a gown I personally like. My favorite color that they're showing this in is the gold. So metallics do very well for our Miss divisions. I know many people are tired of them and say that they're boring, but the thing is, when you're live, when you're in person, they look great under the lights. So if you're looking for something just like easy to wear, that's gonna look great, pair a wonderful pair of earrings with these. Oh my gosh. Work on your walk, focus on those communication skills, you can win a pageant in this. This looks like a recreation of a very popular Giovanni style from somewhere around 2015. And the style that I'm referring to did very well. It won a lot of titles for teens and misses in the USA system, so I don't hate that, and I wanted to bring it here in this episode. Also, periwinkle does really well for younger divisions. I would definitely lean more towards a style like this if a teen were to wear it in a softer color, in a youthful color like the periwinkle, and then, you know, just throw on some pageant earrings and you would be good to go. But I do think it is more of an obvious choice for a Miss contestant. I wanted to include just another great example of a metallic style of evening gown. This isn't anything that we haven't seen before, but this would still look nice under stage lights. Now this is a very simple design, and this is one of those cases you can win in a simple gown, but you really got to be a standout competitor. This gown reminds me, not necessarily in style, but because it was so simple, was Miss California USA 2018. She won in a simple velvet hot pink evening gown. And then we have also, I can't remember what year she was, but Miss Tennessee USA Justice also won in a very simple gown in red. So you can do it, but if you notice in those two examples, those contestants were extremely tall. So they did have height, I think, working on their side. They were experienced competitors. Miss California USA had already competed at Miss America, okay? So these ladies had a great walk and communication skills to back up those performances, which is why a simple gown like this was still effective for them. I personally love this gown. If I were competing, I'd probably wear something like this. I think that this gown in the gold color is so beautiful. You really don't need to add anything else to it. The fabric itself is gonna be a placeholder for rhinestones or sequins or beading. It's beautiful. Here's another really simple evening gown. All you need is a great pair of earrings. I just love how complimentary this is going to be to anybody's figure because of the wrapping around the waist. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be elongating as well. Also notice all the styles that I'm showing you don't have corseted backs. avoid that at all costs for competition gowns. This one is a little bit unique. Now, because we're actually able to see the details of the sequins, I think that it's making this dress, in terms of materials used, look lower quality when we can see all the details. So this is a style I would only actually recommend purchasing it in black and wearing that, because the black actually hides a lot of those details, and the black is going to disguise the fact that they're using a lower quality of sequin fabric for this style. But I think that the neckline is really interesting. I like the little feathers on the wrist. I think it's a fun detail, and this would look great on a Miss contestant who's blonde. Here we have another great example of a metallic. Now this one's interesting because it's not quite white, it's not quite gold or silver, but it is clearly a metallic. I really liked it because it has the draping beading, and that's unique because it's going to add movement. It's also going to be a style. If you want to add more stones, you could easily do that to this gown, and it would blend so well into the bodice and honestly even into the skirt. This is a very similar style to a very popular Portia and Scarlet gown that I think has been overused in pageantry. I talked about it and said we should retire this gown for a while, but I'm still including this version of it in this episode because the notched neckline is unique to this style, and sometimes changing something as simple as the color that it's in, or a strap or no strap, or the neckline is going to be enough to make you look a little bit different. So I liked this. I think it's an easy style to wear as a Miss contestant, and sequins are going to look great under the lights. This is classic. I do think it's overused for our junior teens and our teens, but the color is really pretty. I personally would add some of my own flat back rhinestones, really make it pop, really make it shine on stage. This is something I would more recommend for my younger divisions if they were competing in something not quite as competitive, maybe like a fair system, a local pageant, Miss America's Teen local pageant. I think that this style can work for that. The reason I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of other things is because we have seen it a lot, it is a little bit overused, and because of the light colors of these styles, you can really see the lower quality of materials that are used as well. This dress style, I think it's great. It reminds me a lot of what we're currently seeing from Portia and Scarlet. So if you have been loving Portia and Scarlet, but you don't have the budget for that, I think this is such a great alternative. I like the slightly exposed rhinestone encrusted cuffs. It just gives it a little bit of something extra. But other than that, I think that the fabric for the rest of the gown is really beautiful, and like a little sheen on stage will look nice under the lights. This one's pretty simple. I think it would also look great with some added flat back stones. You can add those stones to the gloves, you can add it to the neckline, wherever you like, but I like that the gloves come with this piece. I like the colorways that it's actually shown in. We have lots of beautiful options here depending on your skin tone and your hair color. You can find something lovely for yourself. I honestly think a style like this, you can wear this to a USA pageant. You can wear this to an America pageant. Of course, if you're competing in a USA system, you want to make it a little bit sexier. We throw on a push-up bra. In America, it's not really going to matter so much, so you don't have to go that way in terms of your styling. But I think this is fun. You can go hair up, down, kind of depending on how large you want your earrings to be and how you envision styling this look. Don't forget, all these looks are going to be linked in my LTK, and you can find that in the video description. If this episode is helpful, please check out this other episode. I think you're going to love it. It's all about pre-styled looks for spring and summer arrivals and orientations.